Thank you, Mr Betts, and it's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and I thank my right honourable friend for Chinkford and Woodford Green for securing this debate on an issue of vital importance, and I congratulate him on the timeliness of having it on the week of the International Day of Remembrance of the Victims of Slavery. I also want to thank my honourable friend for Gedling for the work he does as chair of the all-party group. We've already heard about the inadequacy of the current domestic legislation concerning victim support, and we all know that referrals of suspected victims of modern slavery in the UK have risen dramatically over the past 5 years. And between 2017 and 2018, according to the National Crime Agency, the number referred by the West Midlands Police to the National Referral Mechanism as potential victims of modern slavery rose from 85 to 117, an increase of 32%. 28 were exploited as minors, and of the 45 referred by Birmingham City Council in 2018, 38 were exploited as minors, the most in any local authority. This is not a problem that we can afford to be complacent about. Whilst I welcome the important steps Birmingham City Council are taking to tackle modern slavery, including producing a modern slavery transparency statement to comply with Section 54 of the Modern Slavery Act, which requires transparency in their supply chains, I will ask the Minister if she can tell us what the government are doing to ensure central government are compliant in all their procurement and outsourcing. The 2015 Act gave courts the power to make reparation orders against anyone convicted of modern slavery offences, which would require them to pay damages to those who had suffered at their hands. Will the Minister tell us today how many such orders have been made, what the total sum paid in reparations is, and what the average payout has been? According to a report this week from Hestia, prosecutions for perpetrators of modern slavery offences remain low, with only 7% of recorded cases of modern slavery referred to the CPS. Does the Minister think this is good enough, and what steps are being taken to ensure perpetrators of modern slavery face justice? We know reparations are not enough, and the support required for survivors is more than just monetary, and unless modern slavery is tackled head-on, local authorities will continue to have to pick up the pieces and are already stretched. Their local support services will obviously face additional pressures. Survivors deserve the best possible care, and the government cannot continue to abdicate responsibility by palming it off. First, though, we need to identify potential victims. Frontline staff need training and expertise on signs and indications, and they also need a clear and obvious route to report potential cases for them to be investigated. Victims deserve the ability to rebuild their lives following the statutory support period they are currently entitled to, and programmes such as the Co-operative Group's Bright Futures seeks to help victims back into work. So will the Minister support the extension of the scheme to offer other co-ops and businesses? And finally, this is not just an issue in the UK. Alliance 8.7 are the global partnership to end forced labour, modern slavery, human trafficking and child labour around the world. They estimate that there are currently 40 million people in modern slavery and 152 million children in child labour around the world. Gender-based inequalities and discrimination are the primary causes of slavery for women and girls, according to Amila Bula, the UN Special Rapporteur on contemporary forms of slavery. For example, of the 5 million people currently victims of forced commercial sexual exploitation, over 99% are female. And meanwhile, men are more likely to be victims of forced labour in construction. There are steps we can take domestically and internationally. So what discussions has the Minister had with colleagues to ensure that businesses operating in the UK detail all actions taken to investigate their global supply chains for modern slavery and labour violations, including forced labour? Thank you.